At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too, because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Good morning, everyone. Meteorologist Mike Krueger watching Coffee with Krueger. Thank you all so much for joining us this morning. Had the pleasure of going out. I was looking for a cooling mat for my dog. It's getting hot. I went to both pet stores, at least the main pet stores in town, and both of them were sold out. So trying to find ways to keep Nessie cool. So unfortunately, I did have to go online to order something for her to help keep her cool. Those cooling mats, because it gets so hot. But what's interesting, when I went to one of the pet stores in town, one of the guys that helped me, he was very helpful, helping me try to find something. He found an alternative, but it just didn't work for me. But as I was leaving the store, without the merchandise in hand, because I didn't have it, he said, by the way, I watch you every morning. I love watching Coffee with Krueger. And again, that was really neat. Those are the things. If you see me in public, do not be afraid to say hello and make reference to the fact that I'm your local weather guy. I've been doing this for 25 years. That's what I signed up for. I want to be a part of this community, and I want you all to feel comfortable to come up to me and say hello and chat it up. Now, sometimes I may be in a bit of a hurry, so you'll have to forgive me there, but I certainly appreciate those comments because it reminds me that you all are out there and you are watching. We got the regulars checking in this morning. We got Chappie and Lisa saying good morning to you and good morning to everyone and good morning to me, and that is fantastic. Well, tell you what, let's get you to your Krueger's Quick Cast. As you know, I can go into a lot of detail. And especially then after this, we'll go into the fires and then the deeper dive forecast after that. So we start with the temperatures out there right now. And as you're heading out the door this morning, not bad. This is one of those nights where you could open up the windows and let in some of that cooler air, give your air conditioner a bit of a break and get ahead of the air conditioner. But yeah, I mean, look at that. Mid to upper 60s for most of us in the valley. A little bit warmer in Oroville at 70, 62 degrees though for Willows. And in the mountains, we're talking 40s and 50s, mid 50s out along the coast this morning. Look at that visibility. It has dropped in many areas. Let's take a look right now at the Elk Country just north of Trinidad. And you can, of course, see the overcast skies there. A little bit of the low clouds, a little bit of fog out there, reducing that visibility here. We take you out to Crescent City. This is the Harbor District cam there. And yeah, that is some pretty dense fog out there. So, for example, if you have to be on a fishing boat, know that it's not necessarily the waters and the seas that you have to be concerned about. It's going to be this dense fog. Again, we take you back out to Elk Country here, and what we're seeing here, the fog doesn't look to be quite as dense there. You have to be pretty close to the ocean. As you start heading more and more inland, we are seeing some improved visibilities there, but take a look at this. I mean, you head out to Hoopa. I mean, we've got some reduced visibility there as well. So it does come into some of those inland valleys. I'd be willing to guess maybe Blue Lake. I know we've got someone watching from Blue Lake or someone who regularly watches from Blue Lake. What you got over there? Is it foggy? Let me know. But again, it's looking pretty foggy again out there this morning for many parts of the North Coast, in particular along the coast. All right, so heading out the door this morning there, you can see the cloudy skies on the coast. Temperatures upper 50s there. Still hazy, a little smoky out in Trinity County. Modoc County, a little hazy there as well. Temperatures mid to upper 50s in the mountains this morning at 8 a.m. And for the valley, on average, around the mid 60s. So yeah, again, not a bad start to the day. There, of course, is some of that smoke that we will see here through the noon hour. And then it kind of another plume of smoke is expected. The thing is about the Boise fire, it's active. It's been burning. It was burning fairly active through at least the first half of the night. And it was burning hot too. We'll take a look at that here in a second. But that smoke will eventually try to push down off to the east here as it kind of impacts western Siskiyou County and northern Trinity County. Now, there are going to be some afternoon cumulus clouds that we saw yesterday in the mountains, but I think there's going to be a better chance for some afternoon showers and maybe some thunderstorms, especially for central and eastern Siskiyou County, but that could spill into northern Trinity County, say like Trinity Center, for example, and then into northwestern portions of Modoc County. But otherwise, the rest of us, of course, will remain dry. I think we'll have a hard time burning off that fog for parts of the valley, for the coast that is, but we'll call it partly to mostly cloudy skies there. And then, of course, those thunderstorms are gone as we go into tonight. Let's take a look at your forecast for today. Of course, there's that chance for thunderstorms again. Trinity Center, you could see a stray thunderstorm, but to the south of that, most likely looking at dry conditions. Etna, Happy Camp might be a hard press for those thunderstorms. It's central eastern Siskiyou and a good portion of Modoc County as well. Let's go and take a look at your 7-day outlook for the valley. And yeah, I mean, we look at that long range forecast. Boy, I tell you what, I don't see any heat waves coming our way anytime soon. We're just going to stay status quo. We're kind of stuck in this stagnant weather pattern, and it's for the better, right? Because we're looking at temperatures below normal for this time of the year. The average high in the valley is upper 90s, and we're going to be well below that. And now, take a look at the 7-day outlook. Now, you'll notice on Saturday, I've got showers in there from the forecast for the coast, not to mention inland, and not to mention Trinity County, all right? We're going to talk about that in a little bit more detail in your longer range forecast, but there you can see the chance for thunderstorms here for Mount Shasta on today and Thursday, Alturas today and Thursday, but Susanville and the Eastern Mountains in general, most likely looking at dry conditions, even on Saturday. But Mount Shasta, with that broad area of low pressure, could bring some showers there. All right. Let's check in with everybody this morning. Not a whole lot of comments, but let's take a look at, we've got Terry Ann, of course, saying happy hump day, everyone. Good morning to you. We've got Rebecca Lynn. Good morning, everyone. Pam George is saying good morning. Super neat morning. All right, that's kind of a cool approach. And Terry Murray Holman is saying good morning as well. Thank you all so much for the good morning wishes. I'm going to have another sip of my coffee. So good. All right, here's what I want to do. I tell you what, I kind of put that in there to kind of remind me. I'm going to see if I can advance it to the next one and then to the next one. That's good. But let's do this. Let's start off, let's go into the fires here. Because, of course, the big fire, as you know, is the Boise fire. Now, this is a loop from yesterday afternoon through this morning. And you can see here, and I'm going to take you to tomorrow afternoon. So tomorrow afternoon, there are actually two little hot spots, two big hot spots, actually. There you can see there for the Boise fire. And by the way, if you're out and about in the Redding area and really the north end of the valley, even maybe as far south as Red Bluff, that's where the smoke was coming from. The smoke yesterday morning was coming from the Boise fire. And then, of course, there was another plume of smoke that developed here as it really began to amplify and flare up again yesterday afternoon, pushing a lot of that smoke into northern Trinity County and western Siskiyou County. Now, look what happens as we get just right around past sunset. Look at that big hot spot. We're going to take you into the night. That hot spot slowly begins to shrink as we go into the early morning hours. So at this point, the fire has relaxed. This is good, but unfortunately, it did really burn well into the night and was burning pretty healthy as well. Again, you can see here after sunset. There's sunset right there. Several hours after sunset, it was still burning pretty good. And then, of course, now we're starting to see that kind of die down a bit. Let's take a look at that. And we're going to do a time lapse here from the last 12 hours. There you can see yesterday evening, there it is, going into the night. You can see just how hot it was burning into the overnight hours. This is, of course, the Boise fire. They then changed the camera view, and we're not looking at the Boise fire anymore. It's pointing in the opposite direction. But then as we go into the morning hours, you can see here as we start to see some of that hot spot. So again, let's get where it changed over. There it goes, it changed over. So you can see not burning nearly as hot as it was at that point. That was last night after sunset. This is right before sunset, or sunrise, that is. So you can see the fire not burning as hot. However, let's take a look at the positioning of this. No, you can't. That's not a good example. But you can see it's just not burning as hot as it was after sunset. But before sunrise, you can see it was still burning, not as hot. And then this morning, we can just see a little bit of smoke. Now here's the thing, folks. I am anticipating that as we go into the morning, late morning into early afternoon hours, we're going to probably see it look more like yesterday. We're going to see it look more like that. We're probably going to see another plume of smoke develop, and then of course push that smoke into Trinity County, and of course the works there. While we're in the cameras here, I'm going to take you over to the park fire, because that's obviously another area of concern, although it hasn't been burning nearly as active as it has over the last several days. We're going to take a look just from the last 6 hours, and I want to show you here that you can kind of see some of those burning. See how you see those little flashes there? Those are just little fires trying to start kind of popping up here. So that was pretty much the case overnight. Nothing, of course, took off, which is obviously good. And we can see just some of that lingering smoke coming in from some of those embers this morning. And that's really the extent of it. And when we look at, now we're going to take a look at the air quality. Of course, where's the worst air quality? Of course, the vicinity of the Boise fire. So you're seeing it mainly to the east of the Boise fire. I mean, you're talking 411. I mean, that's a pretty high number, indicating some really poor air quality just to the east of the Boise fire. Let's take a look now at the latest heat signatures. Now, these are signatures from the last 6 to 12 hours, at least the red. So you can still see very active yesterday evening, and not to mention last night. Now, the yellows and oranges, those are anywhere from 2 to 3 days old. So that's what we're looking at right there. So you can see really most of that growth looks to be on the north end and east end of the fire, but really surrounding most of the fires. The south end of the fire looks like we didn't really see as much growth there. So let's take a look at the latest fire perimeter. And there you can see, by the way, it's grown several thousand acres over the last 24 hours. So what we're looking at here is the latest fire perimeter. The white line, that's the fire perimeter. So you can see the north end, east end of the fire, and even southwest side of the fire is where we're seeing most of the growth. And in fact, what we're going to do now is we're going to take a look at yesterday's fire perimeter compared to today's fire perimeter. So yesterday's fire perimeter is the solid red, and you can see just how much more it has grown in the last 24 hours. You are looking, that solid red is the fire perimeter from 24 hours ago. The area outlined in white, that is the latest fire perimeter that's coming in. The Boise fire is now over 7,000 acres with 0% containment. From Orleans, now you can see there are some firing operations on the northwest side there. See that little sliver of white above that main fire? That is most likely a firing operation. It just kind of has that signature of what looks like a firing operation. So that is obviously to protect Orleans and, of course, the communities to the north of that on Highway 96. So that is kind of what it looks like. So I kind of took it from the firing operation and just south of that, putting it at between, say, 2.3 and 2.5 miles is what we're looking at here for the distance to the community of Orleans. I'm going to take you back to the internet here, and we're going to go to the Boise fire, because some new evacuation orders have been issued for the Boise fire. Let's get you out to it. Got to keep zooming out here. It's kind of hard to get to it. There we go. So let's take a look at the Boise fire. So all of the red here, there you can see basically east of Highway 96. There's Siskiyou 1802. So basically that whole area right there, that's basically an evacuation order. This area right here is Humboldt, or HUME009-A. And of course, this is to the east of Highway 96 that we're looking at here, and east of Orleans as well. So you can see HUM Humboldt E009-B, and then of course Humboldt E025-B. Now again, if you're looking at this, you're like, well, what zone, where is that? So let's zoom it in here a little bit tighter. And again, it's mainly, you can see Highway 96, there's Orleans. Orleans, at least just to the east of Highway 96 or south of Highway 96, is an evacuation warning. But Orleans, for the most part, is actually not even under an evacuation warning. But to the south and east of that, there are those orders in that area. So just wanted to kind of give you a heads up on that. All right, let's now take a look at a wider perspective, because as the fire grows, there are probably people in surrounding communities that may be concerned. So that's not right there. Let me take that out. Let me stop that. And we're going to take that out because that's not correct. That was the old data. All right, but what I wanted to do here, we'll save that and we'll get you going on that again. All right. So again, let's take a look at the kind of a wider perspective here. And there is a look at the Boise fire. And of course, closest to Orleans, but still pretty far from Hoopa. And really, we haven't seen much in the way of growth on that side of the fire. But it puts it at approximately 15 miles from, shoot, that's not 4,000. I thought I changed that. I apologize, folks. That's a bummer. Get out of there. Nah. All right. I don't want to confuse anybody. It's over 7,000 acres, by the way. 0% containment. That's true. But 15 miles from the community of Hoopa. All right, so just want to kind of give you some perspective on that. Let's get you over to now we're looking at the Hill Fire. That's still at 7,224 acres, 98% containment as of about 5 o'clock this morning. That hasn't really changed. We're not really seeing much change here. Hasn't grown. We haven't seen the containment change at all. So honestly, it's kind of one of those things where not too terribly concerned about it. They're getting really close to containment on that fire. Just got about 2% more to go. All right, let's take you now to the Park Fire. So what we're looking at with the Park Fire is, that is accurate. Let me just double check that. I believe I double checked it before I went live here, but we're going to double check that. Hang tight. Yeah, 429,263 acres at 40% containment. All right, so that's accurate. And the black lines, those are black lines of containment. So let's zoom it in here nice and tight on that area. And you can see this fire perimeter has really not changed much over the last 24 hours. So we're really kind of keeping it within that Highway 36, 89, 172 perimeter there, keeping it outside of Mill Creek, outside of Mineral, and outside of Childs Meadows, and keeping it south of Highway 36 and 89. All right, so that is really good news to see here. Now, let's take a look at the latest heat signatures, and we're not seeing any red on the map here. That is fantastic. In fact, any heat signatures being picked up by satellite are at least 3 to 4 days old when we're seeing those yellows in there. So again, you can kind of see us within that fire perimeter. So kind of interesting when we look at that. Let's again take a look at that Hill Fire again real quickly here at 98% containment, 7,224 acres. Again, no changes there really. Take a look at your smoke forecast for today. Well, we are still going to see some of that haze, maybe some smoke coming in from the Boise fire, even for the north end of the valley. I don't anticipate it to be as bad as it was yesterday, but just be prepared for the fact that it may be a little bit smoky out there later on this morning. That should clear out as we go into the afternoon and evening, and then another plume of smoke will most likely develop from the Boise fire, pushing it eastward into southwestern Siskiyou County, northern Trinity County. And of course, you can see another small area of smoke that may be produced on the northeast side, kind of that arm on the northeast side of the Park Fire. That could produce a little bit of smoke out there, but shouldn't be that much of a concern. As far as the winds are concerned, yeah, that's one area that we've got to watch here closely, right? So I have included looking at those winds. Now coming in from the south, now look at the northwest side of the valley. See the yellows and oranges in there? Those are some pretty strong winds coming in from the northwest, moving down to the south and east. This is an area of concern. Should a new fire start, we may have some issues with that. We take a look at the relative humidity out there for today. It has improved. It's expected to improve today, but still only about 14% in the vicinity of the Park Fire. But much better humidity levels for places around the Boise fire. But keep in mind, it's still burning and still burning very actively. And so despite those higher humidity levels, it's still burning quite well. Now, you can see the fire weather risk here because of those strong winds for the northwest side of the valley. It's going to increase that fire danger in that particular area. There's a look at Lake Oroville. I think that's old data, an old image. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's updating. There you can see Main Street, Chico. Yeah, looks like it is in motion. That is the most recent image coming in there. We've got some sunny skies there. We take you out to Highway 99 at Neil Road. Glad to see that they moved the camera back. This is kind of a nice view. Looks like a lot of traffic out there this morning. People just kind of moving along, though. And we take a look at Highway 44 at Sundial Bridge Drive. Looks like we still have some traffic out there as well. All right, let's check in with everybody this morning and see how you're doing before we get to the main forecast. Let's see here. There it is. Let's check in with you. See what everybody's up to. Had ash on my car overnight in Wairika. Yeah, no, I mean, I suppose I can see how some of that smoke and the ash from the fire could have made its way up that way. Interesting you should mention that. I want to take a look and see where that smoke plume went, because I don't know if it went up in that direction. You know what? Maybe it did. Let me put it out a little bit farther in time here. I suppose, here, I'm going to take you over to this. This is what I'm looking at right now. So why, I suppose some of that could have come your way. Let's bring it out more. Let's bring it out a little bit more. But it was this morning, right? Had ash in my car overnight. Yeah, it was last night. Interesting. I suppose I could see, because if we can't see the direction that the smoke is moving overnight, obviously, but it was moving, yeah, in the direction of Wairika. So I suppose that's most likely coming in from the Boise fire. Oof, that's a total drag. I don't like to hear that. Good morning, Mike. Enjoying the cooler morning in Millville this morning. All right. Well, thank you for joining us from Millville. Good morning, Mike. Have a wonderful Wednesday. Loving this weather. You know, I am too. I actually was taking out Nessie to hold on. I was taking Nessie I took her to the park yesterday evening, and it was like in the low 90s. And you know what? That really does make a difference when we're talking about those temperatures, right? I mean, I remember my wife and I, we tried to go for a walk one afternoon. It was like, I don't know, 101, 102 degrees. We felt it. We could feel it. Within 5-10 minutes of the walk, we're like, let's turn around and go home. This is too much. And of course, we didn't bring Nessie because we knew the pavement would be too hot for her. But, you know, when it's 93 instead, or 94, that is much more tolerable. And it makes a big, big difference. I can send you a pic of the smoke trail showing this. Yeah, that'd be great, Deborah. If you've got my app, that's the easiest way to do it. So send it through the Weather NorCal app, and I'll be sure to check that out, and maybe I can try to get that posted on social media today. Should be interesting. Good morning, Mike. Have a wonderful Wednesday. Loving this weather. Yes, I agree. Let's take a look at, just for a little bit of fun, the national calendar for today. This is looking at National Navajo Code Tuckers Day. Okay, I don't know a whole lot about that, but interesting. National Creamsicle Day, August 14th. Well, today's Wednesday. It's not dessert day for me, so I probably won't be celebrating that one, but I do love a good creamsicle. Since there's not a whole lot going on today, what's we got going on tomorrow? Things we can look forward to. Well, of course, dessert night is for me on Thursday, National Lemon Meringue Pie Day. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I like lemon meringue pie, but not if I'm going to have a cheat day for eating dessert. So I may not do the meringue. We'll see. National Leather Craft Day tomorrow. National Hazy IPA Day. Well, who doesn't like a good hazy IPA, I guess, right? Tomorrow is National Relaxation Day. Now that sounds awesome. I would definitely celebrate that one. Without a doubt. All right, folks, let's get you to the forecast for today. And of course, as you know, Coffee with Krueger is made possible by Wind River Resort and Casino. At Wind River Resort and Casino, enjoy friendly service, a wide variety of specials and promotions, plus all of your favorite slots and table games. Well, let's take a look at those current conditions out there right now. And you can see right now, temperatures for the most part are in the low to mid 60s. Now, some of the warmer spots like Chico at 70, as well as Oroville, but 67 for Redding. And this is one of those mornings you can open up that window and really let in some of that cooler air. Of course, smoke pending. If it's smoky out, you don't want to do that. 44 for Bernie, 46 degrees for Alturas right now, 52 in Susanville, and about 58 degrees for Crescent City. Now we take a look at our headlines, and we got the cooler weather. It's going to last into early next week, if not longer than that. You can see a chance for some isolated mountain thunderstorms, possibility of stronger winds going into the weekend, but no big heat waves. As far as I can see, I'm not seeing anything. That ridge of high pressure with the heat, that dome of heat, it's trying to move in. And it may eventually win out, but for now, it doesn't look like it. The winds are fairly calm right now, but when we look at our winds here for the next couple of days, there you can see, of course, those winds coming in from the south, northwest. There's those strong northwest winds I was talking, winds coming in on the northwest side of the valley. Now, as we go into Thursday, they're still going to be strong again. That's going to keep that fire danger kind of in that moderate to high category here for the north end of the valley again tomorrow. Still some gusty winds out along the for the eastern mountains, and for the coast, a bit of that north wind. Now we're going to take you into your Friday. Looks like we're finally starting to see the overall pattern showing weaker winds, so that's certainly nice to see. We're seeing less green on the map here, indicating closer to 10 to 15 miles per hour there. Not as bad for the valley. And still those north winds, looks like, out along the coast. Now the humidity levels, 14% for today, at least for the park fire, right? Then we go into your Thursday, it improves a little bit. And then for Friday, about the same. So we are seeing better humidity levels. Because again, I want you to remember and recall the last few weeks where we were down into the single, like way down in the single digits, like 4, 5, 6%. So when you can get up to 16%, that makes a difference in those firefighting efforts. And you think about the activity from the park fire the last several days, there hasn't been much. We haven't seen those big plumes. We haven't seen big heat signatures. So this is good. This is really good. But what's not so great is we're still seeing a lot of activity coming in from that Hoopa fire. I mean, not Hoopa fire, pardon me. Did not mean to say that. I was looking at Hoopa and I was thinking it. But no, the Boise fire. All right, so there you can see the plume of smoke. I think we're going to see another plume of smoke develop again this afternoon. That smoke will push by this afternoon to the east. But again, we're starting the morning off with some of that smoke, even into parts of the north end of the valley. We'll take you into tonight. There you can see some of that smoke pushing closer to the valley again into tomorrow morning. It kind of settles down again, and then by tomorrow afternoon, I think it's going to be the same type of situation. But it looks like those smoke will push more to the south. So I think places like Weaverville will see a better chance for some smoke going into tomorrow. North end of the valley, yeah, there may be some of that smoke going again here for tomorrow night. So we look at the big picture here. The monsoon moisture is still off to the east. Now we're noticing, you'll notice, that is a bit of a spin right here. This area of low pressure is mainly pushing eastward into Canada, but some energy is going to break off of that. And that's going to have an impact on our weather later on this week. But there are still more disturbances pushing up to our north, and as a result, take a look at this. We go into this afternoon. There are the afternoon clouds developing and maybe a stray shower. Now, I think the best chances at this point look to be in central and eastern Siskiyou County, but it could spill over into parts of northern Trinity County, say, for example, Trinity Center, but south of Trinity Center, most likely dry. And then for Modoc County, some of them may come into the northwest side, say Newell, for example. Maybe the Lava Beds National Park could be looking at some of those showers and thunderstorms, but places like Alturas and Aden, I think your chances may be a bit slimmer for some of that activity. But kind of a broad brush would include Siskiyou, Modoc, and at least the north end of Trinity County. Now, as we go into tomorrow, it looks like that energy kind of shifts a little bit more to the east. So better chances for Modoc County, and not to mention maybe even northern portions of Lassen County. But you can see all of this cloud development, those afternoon clouds developing in Siskiyou County and even northern Trinity County. So we can't rule out a stray shower or a thunderstorm in those areas as well. But it looks like most of the activity will be off into Modoc County for your Thursday. We take you into Friday, and you can see the clouds are developing, but Futurecast at least not picking up on any showers or thunderstorms. However, we can't rule out that potential. And then looking at the long range, we've got a big area of low pressure off to our west. Now, the positioning of that low is very important when we're talking about chances for rain. Now, as it stands right now, the positioning of that low is going to bring rain to the north coast, Siskiyou County, central and western Siskiyou County, and parts of Trinity County as well. Everywhere else to the east of that will most likely stay dry on Saturday. However, if that area of low pressure shifts a little bit more to the east, you get the idea. Then there are going to be more areas that could see some of that rain on Saturday. So this is one of those stay tuned and watch to see what happens with the forecast models do. And after that, Sunday, most likely through next week, it's going to stay fairly dry. But you'll notice we've got that area of low pressure here spinning. This could have another impact on our weather in the form of maybe some more showers. But bottom line, what it's going to do is help to bring us some cooler weather. So we take a look at that trend. Here's the heat down to our south. That heat is going to build to the north and east over the desert southwest. In the meantime, remember I was talking about that main area of low pressure moving north into really even north of Canada. And we've got this area of low pressure here breaking off from that. Now this is some cooler air. A couple of things. Number one, we're going to be looking at that cooler air helping to really keep this area of high pressure from moving in. It wants to build in over us, but it can't because this is preventing that from happening. So the cooler air won't be over us per se, but it's going to help to really keep our temperatures below normal. But unfortunately, the positioning of this low pressure and high, the squeeze play between the two, will kind of give us a bit of that southwesterly flow of winds. Now, a couple of things to kind of take out of this. Number one, if we were to choose from any kind of wind, this is the type of wind we're going to want for a couple of reasons. Number one, it can help to enhance that delta breeze, and that helps to bring in cooler air from the south and cooler temperatures as a result. But number two, it can also, because it's coming off of the ocean, it can bring a bit more moisture along with it as well. Not a ton, it's a cold ocean, so we typically don't see as much come out of it. So for example, when you're talking Gulf of Alaska and you get that south wind, that's why it's so humid in southern portions of Texas, because the Gulf of Alaska water is so warm, like 80 degrees, right? So when the wind blows over that ocean, it brings in a lot of that warm, moist air. But the ocean over us or to our west, not nearly as warm, like temperatures in the 50s and 60s, so we don't typically see as much moisture come from those winds coming in. So the humidity levels aren't going to really increase a lot, but they'll increase a little bit because we'll get a little bit of that moisture to kind of come on in. But the third factor, so again, it's going to be a little bit more humidity, but the third factor are the winds. And they're going to pick up. They're going to be gusty at times too. And when there's a fire currently burning, it doesn't care what direction those winds are coming from. All it cares is that wind is giving it more oxygen, and it flares up and we see the fires begin to take off a little bit more. So we'll see what happens with that as we get into Friday, but even through the weekend, because this area of low pressure is going to kind of wobble around through the weekend and into early next week. That's going to most likely keep that southwesterly flow of winds, but it'll also help to keep that heat down to our south and east. Then what's going to happen is, you see how it's kind of still wobbling around through Tuesday of next week. Once again, probably still those winds coming from the southwest. Once again, keeping that heat from building on in. Then this will start to push eastward for Wednesday, Thursday. Now, this would possibly indicate maybe a chance for showers, but significantly cooler weather as well. Again, keeping that heat down to our south and east. So it'll be interesting to see what really truly happens with this area of low pressure, because it's going to have several different factors looking into it. Winds, humidity, maybe showers. So those are, and of course, the cooler temperatures that will be associated with it. Now, the Climate Prediction Center, just a branch of the National Weather Service, you can see here helps to bring in some of that cooler air. So that's the cooler than normal temperatures we do anticipate to see as we go into the long range. And you can see that here as temperatures do drop. They kind of level out in the low to mid 90s here as we take you through next week, at least for the valley. All right, here's a look at your wave heights. There you can see the wave heights. You know, these are ideal wave heights if you have to be out on a small boat, but what's not ideal is the fact that we've got some pretty dense fog out there. So there is going to be some of that patchy dense fog, especially in the morning, but I do still expect to see some of that even into the afternoon. Winds from the northwest at 5 knots, waves from the northwest at 2 feet at about 12 seconds. All right, let's take a look at your forecast for today. Here's your Trinity County detailed neighborhood forecast. Temperatures basically mid-80s, give or take, depending on where you are on Highway 299. 89 for Coffee Creek and Trinity Center. Temperatures for Weaverville are going to be in the mid to upper 80s. Now, what I've got here is this. Wednesday today, there may be a stray shower for places like maybe Trinity Center, Coffee Creek. To the south of that, most likely dry. And really, honestly, most likely dry. You'll be dry here as well. But don't be surprised if a stray shower moves through you, maybe even an isolated thunderstorm. Again, that's Coffee Creek and Trinity Center. Callahan, for example, too, right? Now, let's go ahead and take you southward. I don't anticipate any showers or thunderstorms there. High in Palm, about 80, 86 for Hayfork. And you'll notice on Saturday, you got the chance for showers in there. So that area of low pressure I was talking about, the positioning of it, that could bring some showers into Trinity County here on Saturday. All right, there you can see the North Coast, Redway. I've got you dry. The thing is that area of low pressure may not bring showers to the south end of Humboldt County, so we'll kind of have to look out for that. But places like Fortuna, yeah, maybe on Saturday a chance for some showers here. 67 today in Ferndale, Fortuna about 68 degrees. We take you up north, of course, the coast, inland, you're all seeing that chance for showers on Saturday, but I don't anticipate anything before that. Temperatures low to mid 80s for those daytime highs there. Take you up north, Smith River, 66, 65 for Oric. There's that chance for showers on Saturday. Orleans, honestly, I don't know why there is a thunderstorm there. I need to check that. Don't pay attention to that. I don't anticipate any thunderstorms for Orleans. This might be picking up on that potential for thunderstorms in parts of Siskiyou County, but I think it might be pushing it to come that far west. So I'd say no thunderstorms for Orleans. All right. But here you can see for Siskiyou County. Now again, this is kind of a broad brush. So as you head west, so Horse Creek, Syed Valley, Happy Camp, most likely you won't see any thunderstorms. But don't be surprised if you see a stray shower. But I think the chances are a bit slimmer to the west side of Siskiyou County. Central Eastern, yeah, places like Montague, Wairika, Hornbrook, Gazelle, yeah, maybe a stray shower there or even a thunderstorm. Scott Valley, you're kind of in that borderline where it may be. So yeah, you got the chances in there. That could be the case on Thursday as well, and maybe even Friday. We'll see. And then on Saturday, that area of low pressure could bring showers here for all of Siskiyou County. Take you into central eastern Siskiyou County, chance for showers, thunderstorms. Again, don't look at this and go, oh my goodness, it's going to be widespread. Everyone's going to see thunderstorms. No, this is just saying that everybody is going to have that chance in there. Maybe a break on Friday, but we'll see. We're still seeing some clouds developing on Friday, and then there's that chance for showers again on Saturday. Now for Modoc County, I've got that chance for isolated thunderstorms for you today and tomorrow. Maybe even Friday. We'll kind of have to wait and see. But look at the highs. I mean, they're dropping down to the low 80s. Your eastern mountains neighborhood forecast. You got 75 for Old Station, 81 for Fall River Mills. Notice, no lightning strikes. And I don't anticipate that here for Bernie, even into Saturday. That area of low pressure will be too far to the west to bring any of those showers, at least for now. And we take a look at Chester, no thunderstorms there. No thunderstorms for Lassen Park. Temperatures will be in the 70s and even some low 80s towards Lake Almanor. There you can see Mineral about 77 degrees, 86 for Paradise. No showers or thunderstorms here, and that's also the case for Susanville. Not even on Saturday. But there you can see about 77 degrees for Janesville, 87 for Doyle, and Portola about 79 degrees. Here's your Valley neighborhood forecast to the south here, 91 degrees for Chico. A little bit of a south delta breeze, keeping those temperatures upper 80s for places like Durham and Willows. Otherwise, temperatures, look at that in Chico, you're in the upper 80s. Over the weekend. All right, here's your Valley neighborhood forecast to the north. 90 in Whiskeytown, 89 degrees for Lakehead, Palo Cedro about 94. And those temperatures, low 90s Thursday, Friday, upper 80s for Red Bluff come Saturday, Sunday, and then even into Monday with a high of about 89 degrees. All right, let's take a look at that 7-day outlook for Redding. Temperatures are generally staying between 93 and 94 for the rest of the work week. By Saturday, that is a high of 90. 89, I think Redding could possibly steer clear of the 90s on Sunday, barely, but a high of 89. And then low 90s here for your Monday and Tuesday. So that is a look at your forecast in great detail. And I was just looking at Chappie's saying, I've never seen a weatherman go into such detail for the viewers. You seem really enjoy what you're doing. I do. And so this is what I love about what I'm doing here, and that's why the format of what I'm doing here for my weather forecast, even my daily forecast, the morning, afternoon, and evening forecast, what I do, at least for the morning and evening, is I start off with Krueger's Quickcast. So for those of you who don't necessarily want or need that detail, you don't have to have it. You can watch it at the very beginning, get just what you need out of the forecast without the detail, and you can move on and be on with your day. Okay? But after I do that, Krueger's Quickcast, that's when I go into that detail. And that's what I like to do with Coffee with Krueger. Same format. I start off the show with Krueger's Quickcast. For those of you that are in a hurry, need to get to work, get the kids off to school, you can watch, get the gist of the forecast, be on with your day, and you're good to go. For those of you that want to stick around, you get fire information, right? The latest on those fire perimeters, and then the detailed forecast. So yeah, Debbie, that's exactly what I love being able to do. You see, the thing is, when I was working in TV, I was only given so much time, and I couldn't quite go into that detail. It was so frustrating because I really wanted to, and this is what happens. When they start doing this, they mean wrap it up. This is something I saw all the time. They're always doing this. Wrap it up. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get through this and that and this. So I don't have to worry about that anymore because of the power of the internet. And I can do that for you. And that's what I love about it. So yes, thank you, Deborah Ann, as well, for kind of mentioning that. Will the sun be strong enough to make my sun tea here in Central Reading? I would think so. I'm not a tea expert. My wife might be able to answer that question better. But sun tea, I would expect it's going to be sunny. So I think you'll see. I need to shave. That's another thing I love about doing this on my own. I can just go, I'll shave tomorrow, right? Yeah. So yeah, Pam asking the question about the sun tea. I thought that was kind of fun. I don't know a whole lot about sun tea, but I always think of those commercials back in the day where I think was it Nestea, I think, where they would go back and then fall back into the pool on a sunny day. Kind of fun. But yeah, that's great. And I'm glad that you recognize that I do go into such detail. Because here's the bottom line for me. I remember years ago when consultants became a big thing in local television. It was like this trend, this major craze, probably about 15 years ago. And so consultants would come into these TV stations and essentially just rewire everything that they're doing. And here's what my first impression of one of the consultants, this is what happened after I've been doing it for about, 10, 15 years. The consultant comes in and he says to me, this is first impression. He says, I'm here to tell you that the way you've been doing weather for your entire career is wrong. That's not a way to win someone over. That's how he started with me. He told me people don't want to know the details. People don't want to see cold fronts. People don't want to get a lesson in the weather. Really? Because my viewers tell me otherwise. And so that was really frustrating for me. Now, I will say this. The consultants did do a lot of good things for the news industry in general. But it was very frustrating to begin with here. And they gave me some good advice too. And there were some things that I kind of have taken with me along the way. But for the most part, I really struggled with because then they started chopping my times. Well, you don't need 3.5 or 4.5 minutes for weather. We're going to chop you down to 2 minutes. And then what they would do is then kind of taking little bits, go, oh, talk about this, then another topic at a different time of the hour. Well, I don't know about you. You don't have time for that. You don't have time to sit and wait for the information you're looking for. So the beauty of what I'm doing is it's all in one area and it's there for you. And I've got it in that format for those that don't want the lesson, who don't want the details, and I've got the format for people who do want the lesson and who do want the details. And that's why I'm loving this. This has been so great because I don't have anybody doing this to me anymore. Wrap it up. Nope, not anymore. I'm loving it. Kathy Long is kind of responding. And I'm just kind of going on a little bit of a fun, not rant, but maybe a bit of a, just kind of talking about what I'm doing here. We got Kathy Long saying, missed your forecast for Dunsmuir. So did you miss it in general, like you were watching, you didn't get a chance to see it? So if that's the case, where's my mouse? Where's my cursor? Let's take a look at Dunsmuir for you real quick here. Do I have Dunsmuir for... Where is my Dunsmuir forecast? I think it's in Siskiyou. Yeah. There it is. There's your Dunsmuir forecast. Now, I'm going to put it up here for you. And there you go. All right, so there's the Dunsmuir. Oh, Kathy, I'm going to take your comment off here so you can see Dunsmuir. There's your Dunsmuir forecast, a high of 86 degrees. Chance for showers, maybe some thunderstorms here in the Dunsmuir area as well. So Kathy, just be aware of the fact that you may run into a stray shower or thunderstorm, but chances are you'll most likely be dry through most of the day. But don't be surprised should you get caught under one of those showers, or maybe even an off chance for a thunderstorm as well. I think that's what you meant when you say you missed your forecast for Dunsmuir. Tracy saying, consultant was wrong. We really enjoy, have you branched out here and doing your own thing. We appreciate all the details. Yeah, I mean, and that's just it. For people like you, Tracy, and many other people, they appreciate the details that I've always been able to really focus on, especially since I started Weather NorCal. So we've got Kathy Barker also saying, love the details. Thank you for sharing it all. And of course, Pam is saying, we thank you. And I thank you. I thank all of you for watching. And as I mentioned earlier, I had the pleasure of meeting one of my viewers yesterday out at one of the pet stores. I don't want to say which one it is because I can't remember which one it was, honestly. And I don't want to say the wrong one. But he helped me out, basically informed me that he didn't have what I was looking for. But as I was walking out the door, he says, by the way, I watch you every morning. And I thought, okay, does he mean from when I was at the TV station? And he said, Weather NorCal Coffee with Krueger. I was like, oh, great. That's awesome. So please don't be shy to at least say hello. I may not have a whole lot of time to chat. Sometimes I might be in a hurry. But if I do have time to chat, I'd love to chat with you. I love to hear, number one, that you're watching. And I also love to hear how you're watching. Are you watching via Facebook? Are you watching from the Roku or Amazon Fire Stick app? Are you watching from YouTube? Are you watching on the website? Are you watching from the app? There's so many different ways you can watch. In fact, here's what I say. You don't need let me rephrase that. The only way you can't watch me is from the TV airwaves. So if you have a TV antenna, you can't. But as long as you have internet service or cell phone service, you can watch my forecast from wherever you are. No matter where you are, you can watch. And that's what I love about it. It's so awesome. We got Jackie Dixon saying, good morning. Thank you for all of your research. We appreciate it. I certainly appreciate you. I appreciate you, Jackie. I appreciate all of you that are watching right now. And I appreciate everyone that is chiming in. I just appreciate you, because without you, this would not exist. And of course, without my sponsors, even more so, this would not exist, because I got to make a living. I got to pay the bills. This weather computer that I have, it is expensive, folks. It costs a lot of money. So we got to make sure that, that we can pay for that, right? And then of course, all the data that comes into that weather computer, that costs a lot of money. So the monthly expenses that go into it, not to mention I've got to, Brian Wilson, my weekend meteorologist, got to pay him, right? Can't just do that for free. And oh yeah, by the way, I've got bills I've got to pay too. So, love all of that support, because the more of you that are watching, the better. The more exposure that my advertisers are getting, right? So that's kind of the important thing. We got Stacy Banks saying, well, Stacy Banks is, first of all, she's waving. So hello to you as well. She's also saying, finally, blue skies in Chester. Well, that is fantastic news for you. The park fire hasn't been producing as much smoke. So for you, you get more blue skies. Now, there may be a little bit of smoke that may develop here later this afternoon and come into Chester, but for the most part, it shouldn't be as bad as it was just a few weeks ago. Jackie Dixon says, share, share, share. Yeah, absolutely. Share this if you're on Facebook. Share my posts on Facebook, because the more we share, the more it gets out to people who didn't realize I've been doing this. I've been doing this for over a year. And I will say that a lot of you have really helped getting the word out. And when I first started, the first couple of months, it was like, how's retirement? We miss you on TV, blah, 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 right? And then it took a little turn within 6 to 8 months. And I started hearing more and more, less people saying, how's retirement? Miss you on TV. And now I've got more people saying, hey, watch you on Weather NorCal. And that's, my friend, that's what I love to hear. That more and more people are discovering this. And that's the people that are saying that they're watching on Weather NorCal. Debbie Kelly, good morning, sunshine. All right, so we got a couple of you kind of chiming in at each other and saying hello to each other. So that is fantastic. All right, well, I've had some fun. We've certainly had some fun this morning. Let's take you to a couple of cameras. Let's take you to this one. Yeah, that one's, no, yeah, that one's a little bit, no, that one's wrong. Let's not do that one. Let's move that one over. There we go. We got that going. We've got this going. And there you have it. All right, folks, that is going to do it for today. Let's take you out to a camera from Lake Oroville, North Forebay, and things are looking good out there right now. Not much of a wind. Well, that's going to do it this morning. Thank you so much for watching Coffee with Krueger. Be sure to check in again, of course, throughout the afternoon for the latest forecast. And if you're just checking in, maybe you're not watching on Facebook. If you are, give it a few minutes and you'll be able to watch it from the beginning. And for those of you who aren't watching on Facebook, know that you can just go to weathernorcal.com, click on the Coffee with Krueger segment, and you will be able to watch the pre-recorded version. Now, give it a few minutes, give it maybe 10 or 15 minutes before I get it actually uploaded, but you'll be able to watch that. And you can watch Coffee with Krueger any time of the day from earlier in the morning. All right, you have yourselves a great hump day on this Wednesday, and we'll see you tomorrow morning on Coffee with Krueger.